Kia ora whānau, how's it going? It's Richie here from the Kiwi Hustle podcast. We're here with an entrepreneur within the insurance industry. I've known him for quite some time. He's a local, proud Samoan, family man as well, and a husband. And that's our guest today, Jason Venu. How's it going, Mozo?
Yeah, it's going good, man. Thanks for having me on board.
Man, so tell us where you're from, a little bit about yourself.
Yep.
And yeah, we'll go from there.
So I was born in Wellington, then grew up in Papakura. So born and raised South Auckland boy. Went to St. Mary's, Papakura High School, and I did my last year at Rosal College. And it's just been a wild ride ever since. So
you ended up at Rosal. What did you do after it?
After that, I went to university. I was studying computer graphics, and I didn't finish that because I got into debt and I needed to get a job, and that's how I got into insurance, through debt.
Oh, geez. Well, tell us a little bit about it.
So this was at a time when the banks were giving anyone money.
Yep.
So I was a student, fresh out of high school, first day of university, and do you remember National Bank? The green bank with the horse?
With the horse, yeah.
Yep. So there was National Bank, Bank of New Zealand, Westpac,
ASB,
Kiwi Bank, I think was around that time.
Yeah.
They had the stores at the university, and they were basically going, hey, sign up here, get your overdraft and a credit card. So I just went, okay. And then, so I did that at every single bank, and I did that at every single bank. I remember, what a dumb thing to do.
How much did you take out, or what was the overdraft facility?
Oh man, it was probably like 10. I think all of it was probably about 10 or 15 grand. And that's a lot of money, like
across the four banks,
across all together.
Wow.
And then, and do I have anything to show for that? No, now, nope.
But you've got knowledge.
But I've got knowledge. I learned from my mistakes. Yeah. So so as I'm going through my studies, I'm starting to get letters from the bank saying, hey, you got to pay this back and all this stuff. And I'm just like, man, I'm only working like 10 hours a week, but like I say, like this was a time when if you were just working, they would give it to you.
Yeah.
Now it's stricter, which is good, right? But no, so I went to my dad and I said, I
need a loan.
Dad was going to bail me out. Credit to Dad, he was going to bail me out. And I just said to him, you know what, look, I'm not doing that good at uni anyways. And graphics, it's not my thing. I thought it was. So I said to Dad, I'm just gonna get myself out of this because I got myself into it. So I left uni.
Yep.
And I started applying for jobs.
Yep.
And the first job I got was as a call center rep at AA Insurance in town.
Oh wow.
And so that's how I got into insurance, was through debt.
If you don't mind us talking about those.
Yeah.
What did you spend that 15K on?
Oh man, stupid things.
Like?
Had a girlfriend at the time.
Yep.
So
dinner's on me.
Yep, I got you. You. I probably spent more on the boys than the girlfriend.
Yeah, oh no.
Don't worry, boys. I got
Bros
you.
before.
That's us. Yeah. You know it. And then but again, do I have anything to show for it? No. Do I have a lot of cool memories? Yeah, I got some pretty cool memories.
What was the coolest?
Probably just a roadie with the boys around the North Island. That was pretty cool.
And you shouted everyone?
I didn't shout everyone, but I probably contributed the most. Will I tell my son my story? Yes, I will. Yeah. Because it's a lesson learned.
Yeah.
And he better not do what I did.
Be single. So how old were you when this happened? Was it 18? 19 when you got your job?
It was straight out of high school. And then I did about a year and a half of uni, I think it was. And I think it was probably 20 or 19, 20 that I started at AA Insurance.
Yep.
I was really young when that was my introduction to the corporate
insurance
world. Game. Yeah. Well, I learned about insurance through a friend of mine at Rosal College.
Yeah.
He bought his first car, and the first thing he got was insurance, car insurance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was sort of like, oh, why are you wasting money on insurance? Like, what is insurance?
Yeah.
And he he didn't know what it was, but it was something that his dad told him that he needed to get.
Yeah.
And then an accident happened, and insurance came to the party and covered the cost of the repairs to his car, covered the cost of the repairs to the neighbour's fence.
Yep.
And all he had to pay was, I think, $1,000 in excess. But if he didn't have insurance, it probably would have been about $8,000 or $10,000 worth of damage at the time. And that was my introduction to insurance through him.
Man, I remember when I was a kid, around 18, and I was driving up Palmer's Road in Weymouth because my family used to live out there, bro.
Yeah.
And there was sunstrike that literally was coming through the windshield.
Yeah.
And me being a young guy, I was literally driving, not putting the sun visor down. Next minute, boom.
Yeah.
Hit this car. I'm like, holy crap. Rear-ended them.
Yep.
No insurance. Didn't know what to do. Man, and that was my biggest experience of not having insurance, bro. So I ended up having to deal directly with that insurance company.
Yep.
I ended up being able to pay it off. But it's such a saving grace if you've got it, and I think it's such a necessity. Like, I think a lot of people, they don't see the requirements until it's too late.
Yeah. That's what we come across a lot.
Yeah.
We come across a lot of clients who have something happen or have had the accident, and then they want insurance.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man,
It's too late.
we can't. You can't buy insurance on a burning house.
Yeah, it's already done.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
bro, the house is already on fire. You can't get insurance.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those things, right? It's one of those things that we try to teach people that you got to prepare for the unexpected. You got to make sure that you got the right policies in place to help cover you. And we do come across some people that try to do it themselves, and credit to them.
How do they do it themselves? By putting a bank account?
Nah, they'll just like, when I mean doing insurance by themselves, they don't seek advice from a financial advisor or an insurance advisor.
Yeah.
Because not everything fits into a box, and direct insurers, it's good if you have insurance, but there are sometimes some risk, like a house or you as a person, you may not fit into that box. You might need to actually have a special type of cover or special terms applied, because that's our job. Our job is to look at the scope, assess it, and what can we do to protect as much of that risk as possible.
Yeah.
So what we found is that there are some gaps when people try to do it themselves.
Yeah.
Just some things that they're not aware of, and that's not their fault. Again, credit to them for looking into it, but I always recommend speaking to
An advisor.
an insurance advisor. Yep, always.
So you get the gig at AA.
Yep.
And do you end up being a broker from there, or an advisor?
Nah. So I worked my way up, and I worked in sales, and then we did a special project over there at AA Insurance as well. At one point, I was working under 3 brands at AA Insurance. So there's AA Insurance, Royal Sun Direct Alliance, and SIS Insurance. So I was quite experienced with looking at different policies and how policy readings would respond and all that stuff. And then I got into claims, and I really, really enjoyed that, because you go from selling a promise to then delivering that promise. And it really, really opened my eyes to seeing how policy readings did respond to real life events in people's lives.
Was it hard when you came across people that had like life insurance situations? And would you find the next of kin would call, or would you find like someone that would act on their behalf would call you guys up to say this and such has passed?
It is sad, because we have had that happen, and it's just one of those things that I think that's where the human element comes into play. You can't. Yeah, and it's one of the cool things that we have in our culture is that we're not a robot. We're human beings. And we need to remind ourselves that people have got a product of us, because they're paying for a piece of paper that all it is a promise that if something happens to you or your loved one, will be there. So that's what we do. Like whenever there's a claim, we'll go there. Pam, for example, she was at the hospital last week helping one of our clients through their claims.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I remember my first client that passed away, I was there by her bedside helping her with her claim and trying to help. And that's just what we do. That's, at the end of the day, people are buying from us.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's important for me that, if they're buying from Coversure, when their time comes, and I'm talking about serious claims, like we got to be there. We had a couple of our team members fly down to the South Island again because a client of ours had a very serious claim. So we were there at the hospital helping him through it.
Shucks.
Well, a lot of the clients that we work with have never had insurance before. This is new to them. Over 90% of our client base is what is regarded in the industry as new business. So new business is basically people that have never had
insurance
exposure to insurance or have never had life insurance before or don't understand the concept of insurance. So it's important for me, as the owner of Coversure, that we're there
to show face and deliver.
Deliver. It's just to deliver. And I think that's one of the biggest benefits with having a financial advisor is that, or an insurance advisor, is that when something happens, they're your gladiator. Like if you're in hospital trying to recover or go through treatment or go through an illness, the last thing you should worry about is trying to fight this claim. No, bro. You recover. You get better. That's what we do. We're their champion for your claim. And if it's done right, it's a smooth process. Sometimes there are little hiccups along the way, but again, we champion for our clients. We fight for our clients. We make sure that, we deliver on that promise that they've got from us.
So you end up doing AA. And then do you leave?
So I was at AA for about 9 or 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was there for a while.
Until like 28.
Yeah, I learned a lot. I learned a lot through.
Did you make your way up the rankings? Like, what was the highest ranking you got?
I got up to what they call a motor claims manager. So basically, we're looking after a book of claims at any one point in time for clients to help them get through, the repair process and get the car repaired and on the way to the client and helping them out with settlements and all of that.
Gotcha. Yep.
So that was really cool. I really enjoyed my time in that space, in that claim space, because I think, like I say, I go back to the fact that, we're delivering on that promise for our clients and to see it in action, it was really, really gratifying. And even my time at AA Insurance as a whole was a great experience. It opened a lot of doors. Opened my eyes to, a lot of things, opened the doors. And from there, so after AA Insurance, I went and got a job at PIC Insurance Brokers.
Nice.
Yeah, out in East Tamaki. And,
what is that entity? Is it Pacific Island?
No, it was, so I think it stands for PAMU Insurance Corporation at one point, but they're just PIC Insurance Brokers. And family-run business.
Cool.
Again, awesome experience. I was a domestic broker. So I was looking after what they call South Auckland, like Broker South Auckland. So I was looking after fire and general, which is house, car, contents.
Gotcha.
Commercial insurances. Not really commercial insurances, just like real entry-level stuff. For commercial insurances, we had a commercial brokering team that would take care of that. So we would just forward that to them. And so that was, again, awesome experience. I learned a lot. Worked under, great leadership over there. And but one day I walked in and I think it was brewing for a little while, but I just didn't know what it was until one day I walked in and I just said, nah.
I'll do my own thing.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't really want to do my own thing. I didn't know what I wanted to do. All I know is that I just wanted to leave. It was just a really weird experience to go through where, you know what, I'm in a good place. I'm earning awesome money. I love the people that I work with, but I think for me as a person, I just wanted to do something different. And I resigned, but I didn't have a job to go to.
So what year was this?
Oh man, that's probably about 6 years ago.
Sharks.
Yeah, about 6 years ago. Yeah. So I left.
So this was before you started Coversure?
This was way before I started Coversure. So I left, and then a friend of mine, said, "Hey, you're good with people. Why don't you come and try life insurance?" And I went, "Oh, okay, bro. I'll dabble in that." And then he opened the door, and I got into it, and I thought, "Oh man, this is really, really cool." But again, I sort of, from working with him, I learnt the ropes, and then I sort of went down my own path and left, and I did a year on my own as a sole trader.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Sole trader. And then COVID happened, and then we had a couple of my friends, they were affected by COVID, or either their partner had lost a job, or they had lost a job, or they were looking for, extra means of income. So when that happened, I said, "Oh, well, why don't you come and work with me and help me with my clients? This is how insurance works." And from there, Coversure was born. Yeah. So I went from being a lone ranger to then having a team. And I think it was really different for me because I didn't plan to grow, to have a team. I didn't plan, it wasn't like a 5-year plan or 2-year plan. It was just
happened organically.
Well, I just did it because, that's my nature, right? If people need help, if there's a way that I can help them, I'll do it. And that's how that came about. Yeah.
Man, so now you've got obviously Coversure.
Yep.
Now I don't know how. So how does the insurance game work? So you've got the main providers, like, is it AI?
Yeah, AI,
and then they've got
Partners Life, Chubb.
Yeah. So who are the biggest players in the game? So it's AIA. I know they've got like other entities under them, and then you've got a third party, which would be Coversure, which then go to each.
That's
is
right.
Is that how it
Yeah,
works?
that's
and
right.
then they find which
So-
organization provides the best product for that.
That's right.
Tell us the process, bro.
That's all good.
So we all know.
So basically, Coversure is, so if you need insurance, right?
You
would come to me.
Yep. Hey, Jace.
Which you are actually. You're one
I'm one of your clients.
my original clients. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Still am.
And you know the process, right? So you come to me, and we'll ask you a couple of questions.
Yep.
And then again, like, not everyone fits into a box.
Yeah.
Like, not everyone is suited to every insurance company.
Yep.
So based on your
needs,
on your needs and your pre-existing conditions and your occupation, we work with five or six insurance companies.
Gotcha.
Right. So we work with all the top tier providers, like Partners Life, Chubb, AA Insurance, AIA Insurance, sorry.
Yep.
Astro.
Vitality is.
Yeah, so Vitality is part of AIA. That's an offering that they have. And based on your situation, your lifestyle, pre-existing conditions, your goals and aspirations, we'll be like, well, actually, this company is a good fit for you based on ABC.
Yep.
Right. And then what we'll do is we'll place you with that company. That company then issues out a policy that goes, "Hey, Richie, welcome to this company. This is what you're covered for. Any problems,
give us a yell.
Give us a yell."
Yep.
Great. Good thing is, though, is that you have an advisor. So you call me.
Yep.
And we sort that out for you.
Yep.
And then every year, as you know, we'll send out an email. We'll touch base with you and be like, "Hey, bro, how's it going?
Yep.
Has anything happened in the last 12 months? Has there been any change? And then we'll do a review.
Yep.
And the reason why we do reviews is because, again, your situation may have changed and you may no longer be suited to that
for that
insurance.
policy.
Yeah, for that insurance company. So then our job as an advisor is to go, well, actually, based on their situation, based on these circumstances, they're now probably better off moving to another company because of this offering that this other company has.
Yep.
Because as an insurance advisor, we're about covering scope.
Yep.
And scope is like, we want to cover you for as many conditions as possible.
Yeah.
It's like I say, some people, depending on their situation, because they have an existing condition or because of their job, could be a couple other things.
Yep.
They may not be better. They may not be suited to this
policy
to
anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what we do.
So, who are the biggest providers at the moment in terms of insurance? And what's one of the biggest anxieties that a lot of clients have before they even come to you guys? And so what's the myths? What's a lot of myths that you come across, bro, in terms of insurance? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think what we find Well, what we find at Coversure is that there's a lot of myth around cost. You know, a lot of people just automatically assume that life insurance is an obstacle and I can't get it.
Yeah.
And what we do is, well, we go, actually, you know, yeah, like cost is one thing, but as an insurance advisor, we take that into account.
Yeah.
And then we come down to, well, you know, this is obviously your exposure of risk. This is, after doing an analysis, we'll go, look, this is your exposure of risk. We're going to educate you.
Yeah.
And then let's work with you to try and get something in place.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it works from, there's a couple of levels. Sometimes we're able to work with a client who can afford it, afford the full,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
the full shebang, the full Rolls Royce, the whole, every single type of cover to protect them, which is fine. Then you got some clients that can't afford everything, but they could probably afford, you know, to protect, to protect some exposure, right? So that sort of cover then will buy them time to sort something out. And then we go down that basic route where, you know, it's just like, look, because we've educated you on how insurance works and because you know now your exposure of risk, we empower them to make that informed decision. Because if we have to be real, sometimes some people can't afford it all, and that's all good. There's no judgment on that. That's just their situation. That's, you know, like, it's our job to educate them. And as long as they understand their exposure of risk, then maybe they can do some other things to help mitigate that on their end. But in my eyes, something is better than nothing.
I know.
You know, something is better than nothing. And that has been proven, you know, time and time again when some of our clients have made a claim. Some clients who didn't believe in insurance, or some clients who just said, no, I can't afford that. This is all I can afford. And are now so thankful
that they
had something. Because, you know, it could be a $50,000 payout upon death, or if you have a trauma claim, like if you have a heart attack or cancer or stroke, you know, it's $100,000 payout. And it's not going to cover your income to the age of 65.
But it's something,
But what that does is that it buys you time to sort something out in the situation that you're in right now. And that's what we believe in. We believe something is better than nothing. You know.
So give us an example of something that you've come across, like a testimony, like a situation that you've come across where you've taken a client through a process. They were a little bit hesitant, and then come worst case scenario situation arises, they call up Jace or Pam, and then
So I think you never forget your first. You know? You never get your first. And this one, I'll never forget my first claim. Never. You know, I won't say her name, but what I will say is that she was 56, Cook Islander. You know, slim, no pre-existing health conditions, and her son was a client, and she goes, look, come and see Jason. He's really good. I know you want insurance. I know you don't. I know you're hesitant, but come and see Jason. So she came and saw me, and not even hello. She just looked at me and she said, I don't believe in insurance. I believe this is a waste of money. You know, talk me through it. So I talked her through it. Again, we ask her questions. You know, we try and find out what's important to her. And what's her current situation. And, you know, like hesitantly, even though she understood and she was happy with it, she just couldn't cross that line of, I don't believe in it, but I'll do it. You know, so she got insurance with us. And then about 7 months later, her son called me up and was like, hey man, I think my mum's got cancer. And I was like, what? Nah. I just saw her like, you know, 6 months ago. She was fine. And she was like, yeah, nah, man. The doctor said that she's got to go get these tests done and all that stuff. And I was just like, okay, well, look, get the test done. Let me know what's going on. And then a couple of weeks later, she was diagnosed with stage 4 terminal cancer.
Oh, wow.
And so again, that was like my first ever client that
had to make a claim.
Had to make a claim. And but again, I think, you know, it's that human approach. You just got to deliver. So called up my BDM, and he said, yep, this is what you do, Jace. This is what you got to do. And I was like, yep, sweet, give it to me. Let's do it. So went into Auckland Hospital, and at first I was like, oh man, are you comfortable with me? been in the hospital? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. So I've been, okay, cool. So I went in and I saw her. There she is on her bed, and I'm just like, oh wow, you look so different. But she just looked at me and she just said, you know what? I'm so glad I got that policy out with you, because all I think about now is how my sons will be okay, because she had 2 sons. And, that meant a lot to me. Even though she's going through this battle, she's got peace of mind knowing that when time comes, her sons are going to be looked after. Yeah.
If you don't mind us asking, how much did they end up paying out? Or did she survive? Or
Yeah,
what was the...
it was, I can't remember. I think it was like under 200K.
Wow.
But it was a lot, because that set her adult sons up into their own home. That set them up. And this is a lady that had, so once she got out, she was able to, get out and do some things. And I sort of said to her, so like, what are you going to do? She goes, well, I'm going to get a haircut. And I was like, oh, okay. That's cool. But then I remember her saying that one of the other things she's going to do is she's going to treat her work friends
for dinner or something.
Yeah, like to a barbecue or something. Because she had been working in this factory her whole life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and she was one of the hardest working people that I know. And she wasn't on megabucks. Like, again, she's like one of our, I won't lie, she was one of our low to middle income earners. Yeah. And she had worked hard her whole life, put her sons through school, raised them up. Yeah. And it was just because through the actions of her son, because he believed in me, that he got his mum covered. And because of that, she was just peaceful. She was just, that was probably the only thing she was most relieved about, was the fact that, her sons were going to be okay, because they were going to have a house. This money was going to set them up for a house and all of that.
Man, so with COVID and obviously living expenses on the rise, have you noticed that people are becoming a bit more hesitant with taking out insurance? Or and have you noticed the trend with people, I suppose, milking the system?
Not necessarily milking the system, but we have seen, a lot of people going through it tough. I won't lie. And again, I think one of the coolest things with our clients is that because we build such a strong relationship with our clients, they have the confidence to come and call us or text us or message us on Facebook to say, hey, look, I'm going through a bit of a rough patch finance-wise. Is there, anything we can do? Yeah. And that's what we do, right? Again, we work with our clients because we go down that path of, well, let's assess your situation. Let's educate you on the consequences of not having certain covers or on the consequences of decreasing cover. Yeah. But no judgment. You make that informed decision. Yeah. Yeah. So working with our clients, we're looking right now. There's a couple of things we're doing, reducing the levels of cover. Yep. Because again, something is better than nothing. Yep. We've assessed their situation. They've made an informed decision, so we're going to support them through it. Other things out there is like a premium holiday, where if you've been with a provider for X amount of time, you can qualify for a still to be covered, but you don't pay your insurance. Yep. You take a payment break type thing. And the other thing as well is policy suspension, where we will pause your policy, pause your cover. So you got to understand that with policy suspension that you're not covered, right?
Gotcha, yeah.
But that would be like a last resort, because it means that when you are in a position to continue insurance, you don't go through underwriting or anything and you just continue it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, there is a cost of living crisis. I won't lie, we are helping a lot of clients behind the scenes. Yeah. But I think sometimes they just need a bit of a refresher on the why they got it in place. Yep. And then they sort of reassess their situation and go, well, actually,
I can afford it.
I can afford it, or actually, I don't need to bring it down as much as I thought I did. Yeah. And we're also working with like third-party providers. So like, with the mortgages side of things. Yep. We refer them to a mortgage broker. One of the ones that we use the most is Tapere Hewitt of Hewitt Mortgages. So, gotcha. she's helped a lot of our Pasifika and our clients out into their first homes, but she
Nice.
also does like a, let's look at it holistically and see what else we can do.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a lot of awesome people out there that just really want to help, and I think again I go back to I find great comfort in knowing that our clients have the confidence to come to us in their time of struggle or their time of need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you create Coversure and COVID
Yeah.
during
Wouldn't do
the
that again.
outbreak. And now you've got a team of how many?
That's a good question, man. I think we've got about 15 now, so it's a small team.
Yeah.
But we are growing. We do have a couple more joining the ranks.
Nice. And
yeah.
are they all located nationwide or Auckland focused?
Yeah, so predominantly in Auckland.
Yep.
But we also have a team in the Philippines as well.
Yep.
So that's been going really good.
Yep.
But even though we have a team, even though our team is predominantly Auckland based, we're traveling all over the country. So,
Yep.
I've got I work with an awesome team, and like last week, I had 2 of our team members in Cromwell, in
Yep.
Christchurch. I had another team member in Wellington at one point. Next week, we've got a team member going down to Gisborne and Napier. So I think that's the cool thing about the job that we're in is that there is a lot of travel.
Yeah.
But again, that's just who we are, like as much as we are moving in that, as much as we do a lot of stuff virtually, like
Yeah.
through video conferencing, Teams,
Yeah.
I still like it when our team are
Meet.
there face to face and meet
Yeah.
our clients or help our clients, and that's really cool.
What were some of the things that you experienced during COVID? Like, it would have been tough, obviously, with the inability to get around and to get face to face, and obviously people would have been so resistant to meeting
Yeah.
people. But then I suppose insurance would have been pivotal during that time anyway. What were some of the hardest things that you experienced mitigating a new business through COVID, bro?
Yeah, I think so. You go from, I think one of the coolest things with our business is that about 2 months before COVID, we made the call to go digital. So we were already integrating like some new tech, like just video conferencing and Zoom, and we were doing things differently, like using something called jot forms, which is an ability
Nice.
to, but back then, remember, it wasn't really a thing.
No, it was kind of new, eh?
Yeah, it was kind of new, and Zoom was sort of around, but it wasn't really a thing.
Yep.
Unless you were like doing international meetings, I don't think, but it wasn't. Yeah, so we made the call to go fully digital. And I think, so I remember this. So we had just finished upgrading our office. We just finished setting it up for video conferencing and all of that jazz. And I think like a couple of weeks later, boom, COVID hit.
Was it the first wave?
New Zealand. Yeah, the first wave. Yeah. And then, so we were
Crazy
like,
times, eh, bro?
man, yeah, because we had just finished
Opened.
setting.
Yeah.
We just opened, but we also just finished setting up this cool office where we could do. But I think again, because we were quick to adapt, we just said, well, we got to take her home. So I think we were quite lucky because we were already, once we were set up at home, we just carried on.
Yeah.
But just rather than going from sort of 80-20, like 80% face-to-face and 20% video conferencing.
Flipped it around.
We didn't flip around. It was basically 100%.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
correct, of course.
So we had to learn then how to, there was a lot of mistakes we made. And at one point I sort of felt like a DJ when speaking with clients because you're trying to share screens, you're trying to, present to clients their exposure of risk and all of that stuff. But you got multiple windows open. So you sort of got to
Go from
so there's a lot of hard
screen
work.
to screen.
Yep, there was a lot of hard work, but we got the job done.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got the job done because we grew during COVID,
Yeah.
and I think we grew because of our ability to communicate with clients on platforms like Facebook and Instagram to be accessible to our clients. So again, via Zoom and doing that, because I think that as much as doing things over the phone is cool, I think seeing someone on the screen and helping them guide you through it carries a lot more.
Yeah, I
and,
agree.
And to visually show our clients, because we're a visual people.
Yeah.
You know, I'm all for picture books. I'm all for, hey, draw it out for me so I can actually see what you're trying to explain to me. Yeah. So, and that's a lot of our clients. You know, so we would actually visually show them how insurance works.
Yeah.
And from there, that's how we're able to grow.
Man, I remember when we first took a policy out with you when you came over. I thought the cool things were like what you said. You brought your laptop and basically you utilized our television to basically make it visual, so we could actually see, you know, what insurance did, like in terms of what the policy, like if you took out this policy, how it would safeguard you in the duration of time. Because it's like what you said, it's all good to be told something, but to actually see it's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
And the other thing obviously was, you know, you guys were the first insurance brokers that we've actually come across, well, I have, where you guys actually provided dinner for that occasion, you know, which I thought was actually really cool and sentimental.
Yep.
Moving over to another thing, obviously you're the face of the company. You know, everyone knows Jason Venu as the face of Coversure. And with that comes a lot of pressure. And, you know, with myself, you know, I'm the face of a few entities myself. People, they misconstrue that as the limelight, that all the glamour comes with it, all the, you know, all these things, you know, it's easy. But they don't realize that if you don't perform, people don't get fed. And that's not just your family, because your family eats last. It's the families that work for you. And so what have you found in being the face of Coversure, the hard times, you know, during COVID, where the pressure at the time to be able to be like, bloody hell, I've got to perform to, you know, I've got to find bread for not just my family, but the families that are relying on me. How have you found that, being from a paid employee to now being self-employed and being the breadwinner for not just yours and Pam's family, but for, you know, the families that work for you, bro?
Yeah, it's yeah, I won't lie, it is a weight that you carry on your shoulders, because like you say, you go from worrying about yourself to then worrying about your family, but then to seeing people in your office and you see their families and that rely on you. And I think that's the biggest thing that's important to me, is that, you know, I know my staff's situations. I know, like, you know, when they come to me, it's not, I don't look at them. Like, I know why they're at work. I know why they're here. You know, some of them are providing for their family overseas. Some of them are helping pay for medical bills for their parents.
Yeah.
Some of them are trying to provide a better future for their children to come to New Zealand. So I think that's the thing, right? When you know their why, it just adds a lot more onto your shoulders.
Correct. 100%.
So I think the thing is that learning how to communicate with your team is probably one of the biggest things I've had to learn. And the great thing is that when you communicate with your team the why, like, why is Coversure here? What is our mission? What is our purpose? And it's not that they buy into it, but they believe it. You sort of that weight on your shoulder then sort of gets a little bit dispersed amongst the team, because they now want to do it. They now want to just work just as hard as I do. And so when you communicate with your team and you explain your purpose and your why, and they not only buy into it, but they believe in it. And then you sort of, again, like, the weight is sort of dispersed, but still most of it as a leader you carry.
What's the biggest stress that you've experienced being the leader?
I think the biggest stress I find is when, you know, there's like disruption in your business. Again, COVID was one. You know, having to.
What did you find? What was the stresses during that time for you guys, bro?
It was just learning how to navigate. You know, learning that. I think for us it was crap. You know, we know we got to do this, but I think for us, you go. You know, when you're in business, you sort of fall into this trap that everything's going to be all good. You sort of fall into the trap of running your business like a normal. You know, like, oh yeah, this is the norm. You know, this is all good.
I'm still going to get paid. Everything's going to come through.
We follow this pattern. It's all good. And then something like COVID comes into play.
The hard thing about COVID, nobody knew what was happening. It was so unfamiliar.
Yeah, I think it was uncharted waters.
Yeah.
And you sort of go from being able to think weeks and months ahead to just days.
Yeah,
'Cause you're like,
yeah.
"Crap, I don't know what the next couple of days are going to
Yeah,
look like."
yeah.
So I think that's one thing that I've had to learn is that it's really easy to just stay in bed under the cover and hide from it all.
Yeah. But as the leader,
I don't have that luxury.
Correct.
I gotta get up and just keep fighting.
and that's the thing. Like a lot of people don't realize was that like what with the face, the glamour, and there comes a lot of pressure. It's almost like an NRL player. It's almost like an All Black.
Yeah.
When they're the best in that position, during that 80 minutes of that time, they're being glorified. But people don't see the pressures behind the scenes of the training, the public scrutiny, like if they drop the ball, the pressures at home, the pressures of delivering constantly. And that's probably what you experienced during the COVID period. Like you had to get up, like everyone had shut up shop. But unfortunately, Jace has to get up and soldier on and not know what's tomorrow going to bring, but he has to still turn up.
Yeah, that's right. And I think as well, like it's sometimes, when you go through business, because I don't see myself in that light outside of this. I wake up in the morning. My purpose is to, what can I do to help better the business, better my team, and better the outcomes for my clients.
Yeah.
That's all I focus on.
Yeah.
Do I care like what other people perceive me as outside of that space? Not really, because if you start bringing that energy in, then you sort of start to take your focus off what's really important
And what you should be focusing on.
What you should be focusing on, yeah. So I think that's the key thing is, you keep your focus small, you keep it tight, and you only worry and care about those that are on that mission with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a pressure that you sort of learn to get comfortable with.
Yeah.
It's that whole concept of you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
To get used to that and to just, you know what, it is what it is. I'm just going to deal with it.
Yeah.
Carry it, it's all good.
And you guys got, I think one of the Young Business Awards, was it last year or recently?
So we won a few awards.
Yeah, man.
Which we're really proud of. It's really cool. Again, those awards are a reflection of the people that I work with.
Yep.
That have helped us along on our journey. It's a reflection of the clients that put their trust in us to look after them.
Yep.
So we've won like Top Achiever with my solutions. We've won a couple of Business Excellence Awards.
Yep.
We're also a finalist at one point for Best Emerging Business for, I think it was at that time, the Westpac Business Awards.
Yep.
Last week we won another award. It hasn't been made public, but I'll share it with you. So
Nice.
So last week, Coversure received an award in the Philippines for our contributions to an organisation. So because of that, we've helped to feed 50,000 kids in the last 18 months. Yeah. So so out of all the awards, receiving that award, that was like that really, really pulled on heartstrings because, again, like I said to you before, you just carry on, you just got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that we do is we help to give back.
Yeah.
So yeah, we support some awesome initiatives here in New Zealand.
Yeah.
I think supporting. We've been supporting a charity in the Philippines that's really close to my heart after seeing the struggles they go through, the kids go through. And then to all of a sudden, because I was not told about that. That was a complete surprise.
Yeah.
So to be acknowledged and then caught up on stage in front of all these people,
That's cool, man.
and to receive an award to say, "Hey, man, because of you, we've helped to feed 50,000 kids."
Yeah.
I think that was the first time you sort of choke up and like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of it.
That's awesome as well.
That gives me great pride. Yeah.
So
helping people.
People don't know this, that you've been living over in the Philippines doing 3 months or 1 month stints over there and coming back.
Yeah.
So what's been the strategy behind that, bro? And what's it like living in the Philippines compared to New Zealand, bro? What are the highs and lows about it?
It's different.
Yeah.
How? So I think first and foremost, the Philippines and our team over there play a big part in our business.
Yeah.
They're not just a
call
outsourcing
center
team or offshore team, we regard them as one with the New Zealand team.
Yeah.
So they play a big part of our future initiatives and current initiatives in play. The whole idea about going in the Philippines is that by the Philippines helps us to grow sustainably.
Yeah.
So it means that we can create some job opportunities over there, and because of the growth, we can still help service, we can still help grow, but in a roundabout way, it's also helped create further job opportunities here in New Zealand. So that's how we're able to grow. We're able to grow sustainably.
Yeah.
And we can't grow sustainably without having the
back
Philippines
end.
team. If we didn't have the Philippines team around, it would take us a lot longer to grow faster.
Do they do a lot of your back end admin and
They do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Not just admin.
yeah.
So again, they play a big part in our servicing of our clients.
Yeah.
So every day our client services team are outbound calling
Yeah.
our clients just to see how they're going.
Yeah.
So they do wellbeing calls.
Yeah.
Is what I call them. From those wellbeing calls, we've been able to identify claims.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people that never thought, oh, I didn't like a claim on that. And the simple question that our team asked us was, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah from Coversure. Just calling to see how you're going.
Yeah.
Has anything happened in the last couple of months? You know,
Yeah.
how are things? And from that phone call, we've been able to pay out on a couple of claims, you know. From those phone calls as well, that's how we're able to identify clients that may need our help, so we can proactively help them with, again, reviewing their covers because they may need a reduction to help them financially, or premium suspensions or premium holidays, policy suspensions, whatever.
Yeah.
So by proactively reaching out to our clients, we're able to, you know, help with a lot of things rather than waiting for them.
Yeah.
You know.
Shucks. Man, and so you started obviously with just yourself during COVID, before COVID.
Yeah.
And now you've got a team of 15.
Yeah.
What's on the horizon next for Jason Venu and Pam?
So I think for us, we're still just focused on what we have.
Yeah.
You know, I think as a business owner, it's really easy to get caught up in too far ahead.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I think it's really
Smell the
important
roses.
sometimes you got to really focus on where we are and where we are right now, but also just as important, the climate that we're in.
Yeah.
So right now we are currently navigating, through a couple of things, but that's just no different to any other business here in New Zealand right now.
Yeah.
We also have some awesome initiatives, coming up. A lot of initiatives to help with our community. What can we do to plant the seed of financial literacy?
Yeah.
And that seed for us is insurance.
Yeah.
What can we do to help empower and educate the masses?
Yeah.
So we have some good things behind the scenes. Unfortunately, these things do take time. It's not just something we can just go like that, done. Careful planning, careful consideration of a lot of plans, some good mentorship as well.
Yeah.
Will help us with that execution. So yeah.
Man, before we finish off, Uzo, what are some things that you would encourage a lot of our Pacifica family, but everyone, to take into consideration, to consider taking out a policy? And what would you advise them to do also before you finish?
I think just talk. Talk to someone. Talk to someone in insurance.
Yeah, not the ones that not even going to do anything to insurance sales.
Yeah. So we have come across a lot of people that have heard
uneducated.
Well, again, you talked earlier on about myths and misconceptions and all of that stuff, and unfortunately, those myths and misconceptions came to that person from someone else who had no insurance, didn't have insurance background or anything like that. And you know what?
Just have an open mind,
have an open mind, because I think insurance advisors or financial advisors are there to help you.
Yeah. They get paid by helping you, not by signing you up.
That's right, talk to someone. Talk to me, or speak to anyone. But my biggest recommendation is speak to a financial advisor.
Yeah.
Because, like I say, not everyone fits in a box.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important that having someone guide you along that way or along that journey getting insurance in place, having that guidance will go a long way. And what we also do as well as a financial advisor, we open the door for our clients to, get into other opportunities like KiwiSaver, wealth investment planning, first homes. We've helped connect our clients to people in that space.
That's awesome.
To help them on their journey. Yeah, so that's one thing that I'm really proud of. But again, it starts from talking. There's no such thing as a dumb question.
I know.
Even I still to this day ask dumb questions.
And before we finish, what are 2 products that people should always get out? No question.
My fallback obviously is what I call life insurance. That's like that's your in-game product.
Okay.
That's the product where if something wants to happen to you,
You're covered.
You're not covered because you're dead.
Your
family's covered. Your family's sorted.
So life insurance,
the ones that you love, life insurance, and then it's really hard to pick a second one because there's a lot of seconds to me. But I'm gonna say 2 more. I'm breaking the rules. But I would say some form of living insurance. So that could be mortgage, income protection, trauma cover, and also private health insurance. Especially with the struggles the system's going with today, as you probably know.
And what does private healthcare do? So does it let you skip the line?
So like private health insurance opens the doors to, so many more treatment options out there for you that may not be covered by the public health system. It also gets you there faster. So it gets you to your treatment faster. So you're not having to wait months, 18 months or whatever. And I think also just to see a specialist, it helps with that too. To see you're not having to go on a waiting list to see a specialist with private health insurance. If you have something and the doctor says, hey, you need to see a specialist, the first thing I say is, I've got private health insurance. And then he books me in for an appointment to see a specialist the next week. And that's happened. So private health insurance is
number one.
Probably, I would probably put out there on the most important, to be honest. Especially right now.
Especially in this climate.
Especially in this climate, especially with everything that's going on in the public health system, you know, and it's not to say that our doctors and nurses are doing a bad job. They're not.
No, it's just a relief.
They're doing the best they can with the resources they have. You know what I mean? And man, I take my hat off to those guys because right now I don't know how they're doing it. But they need all the help they can get.
Man, also it's been a privilege speaking to you.
Awesome.
I appreciate it. So anyone team that's out there that needs insurance advice or needs to take out a policy or needs a revision on their policies, reach out to Jason and the team, Coversure Insurance. Where can they find you, Uzul?
So they can connect with us on, we've got Facebook.
Nice. Just
Coversure _New Zealand. Or they can just Google Coversure New Zealand. They'll find us there, connect with us. And if you flick us an email, coverme@coversure.co.nz.
Perfect. And what you're saying, live life covered.
Live life covered. That's
awesome.
what we do.
Thank you, Mosel.
Take care.